a lot of men would say that they don't like makeup or they prefer women without makeup or false hair. And then when you wear when you wear the makeup and the false hair, our heads are turning and eyes are turning. They compliment you, and then when they see you barefaced or bareheaded, I would say, without any fake hair, and your hair is just plain without any extravagant styles, or if you don't have naturally long hair, you get no compliments. I made a list of all the things that I stopped doing, that I used to do when I was younger or I did in the past and I stopped doing, and now I'm going to start doing those things again. Pretty interesting list, and stay with me in the video so you could hear those things in the list, and who knows, maybe you have things that you used to do that were pretty good stuff that you did and you stopped doing them for whatever reason. Firstly, if you're a content creator, how hard is it to prop your phone up without a tripod? It is one of the hardest things and most difficult things that you could do in your life. Right now, I don't have my tripod, so this is like a weird angle for me. I do have my tripod, it's just that I don't have access to it right now. I do have my tripod. It's just that where it is right now, I just can't be bothered to take it out of that space. So I'm just propping the phone up on this chair and I'm sitting here in the corner. So I have a pretty interesting list here, as I said. Now, one of the things that I did when I was younger that I stopped doing is wearing watches. Right now, I'm not wearing a watch, but I started re-wearing watches when I came to the US. My cousin had gifted me a watch for my birthday, and it was 2018. And the reason why I stopped wearing watches is because, of course, cell phones came in and we go everywhere with our phones. And technically, you kind of don't need a watch if you always have your phone. But as I am older now and I'm working on weaning myself off of always having my cell phone, it's so difficult to tell the time without a watch. And then for persons who are into fitness and all those things, fitness watches are a big thing now. Like, you hardly ever see anyone with a regular watch. Everyone is like wearing fitness watches or going in between. So I definitely started wearing watches again. uh Using beeswax in my hair is something that I used to do, and I stopped doing that. Like, a lot of these things on my list, when I look at them, I really don't have a reason as to why I stopped doing those things. I just stopped doing it. I don't know if that ever happened to you, but I and you know what? I think just the whole thing with my hair has changed with the natural hair movement and natural hair influencers and how black women view their natural hair nowadays. I feel like the way my hair was in the past, it's totally different now. And I actually reverted to using beeswax recently, and I totally forgot how difficult it was to comb your hair with beeswax in it. I can't recall having those issues when I used beeswax in the early 2000s. And for some reason, it seems more difficult now. So I tried going back to the beeswax thing, but it's really not for me. So I definitely will not be sticking to using beeswax, but I did try. Next thing that I have on my list, and this is when I was single, and but I still put it on the list, is stop focusing on the opposite sex. Like, I would say obsessing over the opposite sex. Of course, I'm female, and I focused a lot on men and trying to get into a relationship, and then um this is when I was an adult, actually. When I was a child, I didn't focus a lot on the opposite sex. I mean, yeah, I had a lot of crushes and things that kids would have, but I did focus a lot on doing my own thing and loved ones. And if you see me looking over here, I'm looking at my laptop because this is on my laptop. So that's something I started doing again because for some reason, when I was younger or in my teens, I sincerely think I did better with the opposite sex than when I was an adult, or when I became an adult, I should say, which is kind of weird. So that's something I started doing again. Stop obsessing over the opposite sex and just focusing on my goals and focusing on the people who I love, like family, friends, um, people who you meet, people who need you, and so forth. Next thing is wearing makeup. When I was young, I didn't necessarily wear makeup, but you would put on your baby powder and your petroleum jelly and your little eye pencil, just light makeup. Makeup is nothing now the way we used to wear it back in the day. It wasn't even makeup, it used to just be like face powder. And I could remember a few years ago, I went through a phase where I wasn't wearing any makeup because I was doing the whole conservative thing. Like I was trying the whole ultra conservative thing. Like I'm not gonna wear any hair, no makeup, no nails, none of that. I don't know what I was thinking. So I actually started wearing makeup again, and I'm not going to apologize for doing it. A lot of men claim that they don't like makeup, but when you don't wear it, that's so funny. Like, a lot of men would say that they don't like makeup or they prefer women without makeup or false hair. And then when you wear when you wear the makeup and the false hair, our heads are turning and eyes are turning. They compliment you, and then when they see you barefaced or bareheaded, I would say, without any fake hair, and your hair is just plain without any extravagant styles, or if you don't have naturally long hair, you get no compliments. It's so contradictory. Like, what is it really? Do you like it or do you not like it? So, unapologetically, I wear makeup now, even if um, so people complain and say, "Oh, you shouldn't wear makeup." That's just me. I think that makeup is something that women like to do to be more feminine, and it's a big part of womanhood, I would say. And I walk through the streets at times. I was in the city today, and I saw this guy. His legs were shaved or waxed clean. It was so pretty. And he had on these little shorts, and you could see that he was wearing women's underwear. And he looked really neat. I don't know if he's gay or what, but he looked very feminine. He looked like a man. Like you'd see it's a man, but he looked very feminine. And I was like, okay, men are outdoing women now in everything, in the way they dress, in wearing makeup, in wearing nails, in the latest fashion. It's like, to be a woman is such a privilege, and wearing makeup is just a big part of that. So let me be a woman and just let me do me and just wear makeup. Another thing is wearing acrylic nails. So when I was in my early 20s, I wore acrylic nails religiously. I miss Karen and Chris so much because right now I'm trying to find an acrylic nail person to do it to my liking. And all the people that I have found thus far, it's you either have to jump through hoops to get an appointment with them, they're too far away. It's something, right? So if you know any acrylic person who does really neat acrylic nails in the NYC area, please comment down below and let me know. But that's something I started doing again. Right now, my nails are not acrylic, and I have a horror story about that that I won't talk about on this channel. I put that on my beauty channel. So you could follow my beauty channel. It's linked in the description uh, box down below. All right, so next one is window shopping. When I was younger, I did a lot of young window shopping, and then I came to a stage in my life when I said, especially after I had my son, I would say, what's the point in window shopping? It just makes you feel worse because if you don't have any money, what's the use going window shopping? You're just gonna make yourself feel way worse knowing that you can't afford whatever it is that you're seeing in the window. I threw that out the window and I was like, you know what? I love window shopping. So now I find so much pleasure in just walking and going into stores and looking at different things. Whether or not I can afford it, it doesn't matter. Just being observant, looking at different products and services and so forth, and just exploring what's out there. All right, so trying to please people. When I was younger, I was definitely not a people pleaser. I did my own thing. Actually, I didn't have much. I knew a lot of people. And when I say I had a lot of friends, it's just general, loose, using the word friends loosely. I had a lot of. My lips feel so dry. I had a lot of, what would I say, acquaintances or church mates, schoolmates, neighbors, and so forth. But I didn't have, let's say, besties. I wasn't like a bestie person. Like I always said when I was younger, I always said that I don't have best friends. I just have people who I'm close to. So I would never look at someone and call them my best friend. Like that was never my type of thing. So I just did my own thing, and instead of pleasing people, I just did me. I never really thought of how people would feel if I probably didn't call them on the house phone, or I don't know. I was too young to care anyway. I was in my teens. You're a teenager. Cell phones weren't around at the time when I was a teenager. So it's like if you don't return someone's call, it's not a big deal because we hardly use the phone to interact. Everyone was just meeting up at school or socializing in person anyway. So I started trying to please people. I would say even up until recently, I'm just like still trying to please people, and I realize that it's highly impossible. So you should just do good, do you, accept the fact that you really cannot please everyone, but you can just do what is right. If people have a problem with you, if they're not pleased with things that you're doing, you just have to not take them on, just not care anymore to the point where it makes you feel as though you're going to lose your mind or yourself. Okay, so and then people nowadays are so hard to please. Like no matter what you do, people are just so impossible to please, and you just have to do you and move on. Basically, if they are meant to be in your life, they will stay for sure. All right, so we have riding bicycles, swimming, and playing other sports. Now, I'm a big swimmer. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I could swim very well. I also can ride bicycles very well, also. And I love cricket. Yes, I love playing cricket. I wouldn't say that I'm very athletic or I'm a great cricket player. I don't know the rules of the game or the sport or whatever, but these are things that I did and I stopped doing them. And I could remember when I moved to Pittsburgh, I signed up for membership at YMCA. I did go to the pool maybe once or twice, and I haven't gotten back into it because now I picked up this thing where I kind of like cringe at pools because mentally you're like thinking, okay, everyone is in there peeing and saliva, everything, all bodily fluids are in the pool. I guess that's why they have so much chlorine in there. But swimming is something I definitely would like to take up again. I love riding bicycles. I love feeling the wind in my face, riding in the city, especially in Pittsburgh. There's so many bicycle trails and parks to utilize there in Pittsburgh, and it's something I really started picking up again. In terms of cricket, I can't really play cricket unless I have like a group of people to play cricket with. So I started playing tennis. Yes. So I love playing tennis. I just think it's such a classy sport. It's a workout also, and it's something I definitely enjoy doing. Climbing trees. No, I haven't really I haven't really found a tree to climb in, but climbing trees, for those who lived in my community back home in Guyana or people who know me very well, knew or know that I spent a lot of time in the mango trees and the tamarind tree in my backyard that are no longer there because my mom cut them down. But I remember as a child, I'm a loner, and I was always a loner, and because my age is spaced out with my other sisters, I couldn't go everywhere with my sister. That's the one that is right before me because she had her friends, and I was just like, in Guyana you call it snot nose. I was just like a little snot nose. You don't want to have your pesky little sister with you. So because of that, and then my younger brother who came right after me, he had cerebral palsy. He couldn't walk or talk. So I was like a lonely child. I wouldn't say lonely, but I was a loner. I was always alone for a great portion of my childhood. So I would sit in the mango tree, and I kind of tried making like a tree house up there, which ended up turning into just like a little seat because I can't, I couldn't build a tree house. So I would sit in the tree, and I climbed the trees a lot because when you climb the trees in my yard, the trees were so big and tall that you go into the tree, you could see a certain parts of the neighborhood that you wouldn't see if you weren't in the tree. So my future promise to myself is to have like trees in my yard, and I could climb them and just sit in them and have the wind blow in my face and my hair, and just um, live the last days of my life just real peacefully. All right, so using real butter. No, I was days old, or I wouldn't say days old. Um, there's this saying that you say, but I can't remember it right now. I would use real I think I was using real butter when we were kids, but it was just the other day I realized that margarine wasn't real butter. Not really the other day, like even somewhere in my adulthood, I realized that margarine was actually not real butter. And FYI, real butter on toast especially tastes so much better than margarine. I guarantee you. It has this, like, if you put the butter on the bread and then toast it with the butter spread on the bread, it has this amazing crunch. It's so tasty. Okay, taking vitamins and supplements like cod liver oil, ferroglobin, etc. When I was younger, religiously, I did take vitamins, especially when my dad was living in Guyana. He did give us vitamins religiously. And then there was a point in my life where I just stopped taking vitamins. And I was like, why am I not taking vitamins and supplements? And it's not like you're the healthiest eater. You hate salads. At the time, I ate a lot of refined processed foods and meats. So now I'm so much into supplements, healthy eating. Right now, my thing is juicing celery in the mornings. By the way, not the easiest feat, but I'm trying to stick with it to see what it could do for me health wise. Using umbrellas while walking in the sun. I used my umbrella. Use my umbrella. That's the word, not umbrella. I don't know why I said that. But I used my umbrella. I was in the town, and this was the beginning of summer, and the sun was so hot. And this woman walked up to me and she's like, that's a really good idea, using an umbrella. People hardly use umbrellas in the sun anymore. And when we were younger, to shade from the sun, we always walked with an umbrella because the sun in Guyana was so is still so hot. Because the last time I went home to Guyana, I couldn't believe that I was Guyanese, because I said to myself, how is it even possible that I was able to withstand this sun when I was younger? But of course, that's the environment I was born in. I grew up in it. So it's like feeling hot or being hot or feeling excruciatingly hot or knowing that the place is terribly humid meant nothing to me, because of course I'm Guyanese, right? And I live there. But after living in Mandeville, Jamaica, which is very cool at times, and then going back to Guyana after many, many years, I almost died. And funny enough, I went to Guyana twice before that time and it wasn't the same. So, what has happened to me is that I have acclimatized so much to the like cooler temperatures. Is like being back in Guyana in the hot sun is just so grueling. And then when we were younger, we always would take an umbrella to shade in the sun. And I think that did a great deal for us. And because you move to a cooler climate where it's, even though it's tropical, it's not as hot as Guyana, you stop using umbrellas. And then when you go to Guyana, you're like, okay, I need an umbrella. So even though I'm in the States, I have an umbrella that I walk with in my handbag. And if the sun is hot or if it's raining, I do use my umbrella in both types of weathers. uh Allowing people to catch up with me. Okay, now this is kind of similar to not taking people on, like not allowing, what was it at the beginning of the list? Trying to please people. This is kind of similar to trying to please people, but when I say allowing people to catch up with me, when I was younger, I definitely did not try to win people over or try to follow up with what they were doing. I was just doing me. So when I was younger, you either get with my program or that's just it. So now that I'm older, I am gravitating back to that personality, or I wouldn't say personality, I would say habit. I'm gravitating back to that habit of allowing people to catch up with me instead of just trying to rule with the in crowd or trying to be into what everyone is into. Right now I'm just in a space where, listen, you're either with me or you're not with me. Buying perfumes. Oh my gosh, I when I was a teenager, I actually was into perfumes. And when you're young, you think you know it all. You think you're living until you become an adult. I could speak for myself. Until you become an adult and you realize that you really knew nothing at all. Sand and Sable was my perfume. And the other day, I jumped on eBay and purchased a bottle of Sand and Sable, and I wondered to myself, what was I thinking? Sand and Sable smells like this really You know those, like back in the day they would say use that perfume on dead people? That's what it smells like. I couldn't even use it. I actually shipped it off to my cousin who had asked me to ship all the cosmetics I'm not using. I shipped those things to Guyana. So I'm definitely into buying perfumes now. I actually went to Macy's in the past, just recently, and I just said, give me some samples. I want to see what it is that I like, what is what is my scent, what am I into, because I've been using body spray or just scented. There's this movement with this Bath and Body Works and Victoria's scents, Victoria's Secret scents. Um, that's kind of annoying. Like everyone is using like Bath and Body or Victoria's Secret, and hardly anyone wants to use like actual real perfumes. And I'm like, okay, let me step away from the body spray thing or era and just go back into wearing actual perfumes. Right now, I don't even think I have a favorite scent per se. I'm just trying different stuff as I go along. Next thing is focusing on building friendships with female friends instead of male friends. Now, this is a big one. When I was small, I had a lot of relationships, like close relationships with females. Like I hardly had male friends. And then I became an adult, and it's like you become an adult and you start doing things contrary to what is best. And that's kind of weird. It's like you go into this, like you're in relapse or something, like you're doing worse than when you were a child. So I've learned that male friends, let me speak for myself and not for everyone else. I'm not into like male friends because men, in my estimation, it's difficult for a man to be friends with a woman without seeing her in his head in a sexual way. And everyone doesn't agree with this statement, but I believe it's very true. It's very difficult to have a male friend and it's just innocent, really, in his head. And even if he won't admit it to you, I think biologically that's just how women are and men are made up. And as a result, I just focus on my female friends and family or male family members. So what I would do is I would just spend time with my girlfriends, with my sisters. Um, well, my elder sister, we really don't spend as much time interacting as much as the sister that is before me. That's the truth. It's just that way. But I stopped focusing on just men like that, and I've found so much more meaningful relationships with, like, I would say my girlfriends, and I have very, very, very few male friends. I could count them on this one hand. I have a lot of male acquaintances though, or men from the church or business related or so forth. All right, not caring about what others think. I think I had that. That's just a repeat on the list. Wearing belts all the time. There was a part in my life where I stopped wearing belts. I don't know why. My shape is kind of like, I wouldn't call it hourglass. My waist is kind of long. Like my hips are lower and not high, and because of how I'm shaped, pants will never stay up on me without a belt. It's like I've never, like, I'm thinking about it right now, and I can't recall ever wearing a pants. It doesn't matter how well cut it is, it doesn't stay up. It always falls because of how I'm shaped. So as a result, I have to wear belts. And when I was younger, I wore belts a lot. And then there was this period in my life when I wasn't wearing belts. And then I always had to draw my pants up, which is kind of annoying and it doesn't look good. So I'm definitely into belts now. I have been investing in belts, having different belts for different outfits so that I could just look coordinated. Wearing caps. What happened? Like, caps on women are so cute. Like those polo caps or polo. Ralph Lauren makes really nice caps and they always just look so cute on women. And earlier in my life, I always wore a cap, like when I go jogging or some sporting event or something sporty, like you'd put on your, like, even how my hair is right now, you just put on a cap and you look so cute. And then I stopped doing that and I was like, you know what, I need some caps. And I've been looking for caps, but the Ralph Lauren ones are pricey. They could run you as little as 80 US for one. But that's definitely something I'm getting back into. And I also like the ones with the glitter, like with the rhinestone or the studs on them. Those are really nice. Buying pens. Now, buying pens is so sexy. Like, it's so grown and sexy. Buying a pen. Usually you just get a pen for free. But write, I'm always writing something. And I love the idea of a good looking, beautiful pen. So I literally would spend a lot of money on a pen. Like, I would spend money on a pen. I would go into a store and just look for the most beautiful pen and just buy it because I just think that it looks so classy having a beautiful pen. Wearing a moisturizer. Oh, and before I say that, so buying pens in high school, we bought pens all the time. I don't know if you guys remember, especially if you're from the Caribbean, like for those who wrote CXC or just you were in a secondary school or whatever. Having a beautiful pen was the in thing in high school in the 90s. I don't know if anyone remembers, but you would go to, I'm trying to remember the name of the popular stationery store we would go to, but you would go to these popular stationery stores and you'd spend all this money on the most beautiful pens. We used to buy like different inks, different types. We used to like take the tubing out and write her name on a little piece of paper, wrap it around the tubing, push it back into the glass tube. It was so cool having a pen. So now I'm back into that whole pen buying phase. Wearing a moisturizer. When I first moved to Jamaica, I had met this woman. I think her name is Yvonne. I don't remember her name. But she gave me my first facial and she told me something that I still do to this day. Well, I stopped doing it for a few years, for many years actually, but I started it again. Where you do daily facials, she would call it, where you buy the cleanser, you have the astringent or the toner, and you have the moisturizer, and then there's even the sunscreens. It's like a 3 or 4 step system. And I would use, at the time I was using Clean and Clear, and Clean and Clear is really not that bad of a product. Like, it really isn't bad, like, honestly. If you're looking for something affordable, I would say start off with Clean and Clear and then you could advance into something a bit more pricey if you could afford it. But Clean and Clear has the three step system. And I remember when they made the moisturizer with the SPF in it, I've been looking for that and I think they discontinued it, but I don't think they sell it anymore. But I was looking at my skin just a few days ago and I was like, my skin does not look good. Like, my skin, I was saying to myself, when I was in my early 20s, my skin was perfect. Honestly, I need to get back into a good skin regimen and consistent with it every day without missing a beat, just how the way I did it when I was younger. So I started wearing my moisturizers again. I wasn't moisturizing, like it's like on and off at times, but now I'm consistent with it. All right. Um Smiling and pouting my lips. This is like the opposite because okay, so I read that wrong. So it's supposed to say smiling and not pouting my lips. Now, social media brought this or started this pouting thing. Like if you go to my Instagram, if you go to my IG and you look at around 2016, 2015, 2016, 2017, I was pouting. And when I look back at those pictures, I'm like cringing. I'm like, what was I thinking? No, honestly, what was I thinking? Pouting. Like, when did people stop smiling in photos? And I think I stopped smiling because when I smile, I have this baby face. And then when you pout and you have the high, let's talk about high cheekbones right now. The new thing now is cheekbones. It's like if your cheekbones isn't touching the sky, you're saying nothing. Like everybody is doing like Botox now, and they're doing like the high cheekbone thing, and they want the square face look, and the model fit. Like everybody's face cannot look the same, and I was aiming for that. Like I was trying to do like the smiles plus the high cheekbones plus I was like, I was so silly. So I started smiling in my photos again, just posing like normal. Like if you go through my IG, you would see there was a period where I was doing this whole model thing. Like if you do not go on IG and take a photo for you to look like a Kardashian or a top model or IG model or something, you feel like you can't post a picture. That I don't do that anymore. I just take normal pictures. However you capture me, you capture me, and I am moving on. I that era for me is over. So no more pouting. I'm back to smiling. I'm back to my beautiful smile. I said I wasn't going to edit this video, but I just want to drop this last one in there. And this is using Clean and Clear. I started using Clean and Clear very early in the 2000s. Let's say around 2004, 5, 6, 7, thereabout. And I stopped using it. Why? I don't know. And I started using so many other products. And why I came back to using Clean and Clear is because I found out recently that I am very sensitive in the scalp, in the skin. A lot of times when I see that I have pimples, it's an allergic reaction that I'm having to something like food or cosmetic. And I have resorted to using Clean and Clear as a backup. So I was using a certain line. There's Neutrogena has a pore refining line called, well, pore refining, not pore refining, pore refining. But it seemed as though they discontinued the entire line, and I haven't really found a substitute to replace that because I've tried so many cosmetics on my face and all they do is give me pimples, give me things that I am not used to having. So I keep literally Clean and Clear, the name speaks for itself. I keep my face clean and clear with this product. So until I find something that's better than this, it's going to be Clean and Clear for me. Whether it's going forward, backup, makeshift, whatever you want to call it. I'm so happy to be using Clean and Clear once again. I'm gonna find it on Amazon and link it in the description box down below. All right, so that's my list. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Comment down below and tell me what are some things that you did when you were younger that you stopped doing that you would really love to do again. And don't leave without subscribing. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye now.